Hey guys, it's Jeffrey. I got a couple of Bard bangers for you guys where I have two perfect games, and this streamer gets pretty tilted. Oh goodness. So this is the first out of two games that I played. And we had some really good jungle attention in this game, and our mid laner and jungler did really well the second game. I'm always a big fan of whenever you are playing jungle, camp one lane and do like sufficient amounts of damage and then move around. So I really appreciate it whenever a jungle plays with, I don't know, they play with intent. Here we got those Viego resets, and with Bard, I always run the attack speed on that top rune or top mastery stat, and it just helps you DPS in fights. And even though you're just tickling people with your damage, it really adds up over time. Late game, it's really for getting meeps out there and slowing and doing that damage, but it's so helpful early game. It's a very useful stat. So the Bard versus Thresh lane, it's kind of like Thresh favored early on and then Bard favored later. Both supports, which they're two of my favorite supports, but whoever, like, it's very snowbally. If the Thresh doesn't win lane, Bard's going to stomp him. But if the Thresh does start winning lane, he just starts making picks and picks and picks and picks. So I feel like with Bard, I usually try to just survive and hope that we can do something in the mid to late with all of my ultimates, with Ultimate Hunter. And you notice that I always go tabbies against AD junglers. Look at this. I for sure would have died. If I did not have them. And that is just unfortunate. He misclicked the lantern. He took too many tower shots and greeted for me. And we're just rinse and repeat in these long lanes and just set up kills. The Thresh has Zhonya's, which is interesting. But it doesn't really save him. I figure it was something he took in his rune, so he didn't really care about wasting it. So if you're going to miss a Bard ult, just miss it on their side. Make it to where they at least have to dodge into you to survive. That way you can actually get kills with a missed ult. If you miss and they dodge away and go home, then they're just going to get out for free. This was a really weird interaction, actually. The Jarvan came in and ulted our jungler and killed him, but since Jarvan's unstoppable now in his ult, a change they made I think like a couple years back, it just looked really wonky and my ult didn't go through. And so we're just putting in our meeps, we're spreading out the slow. Here you can see where my positioning of the ult was on top of Seraphine, but it made it to where the Thresh had to dodge into us to stay alive. Now I believe the game should have been over by now, but you know how it is. We don't quite finish. We're still just looking to make picks off of vision. Here, the Thresh is kind of the engaged target, but their Jarvan counter engages, which makes the team fight spread backwards, and the Galio enters. And look at this Galio damage. What is this? W auto Q does like 1,000 damage to Kai'Sa. She almost gets eviscerated, and I swag swipe this kill. We should have ended the game here as well, but a lot of our teammates kind of just ran it, and I could have gotten a stun there and maybe ended it, but luckily our Fiora, who was struggling in the early game, she ended up clutching it out and backdooring their base. So that's one perfect game down. The second game,
GG big dog, yo, Geoffrey,
that's my
GG
boy
bro.
right there. Always a good sport. The second game, we had a different matchup here with a heavier harass bot lane with Zyra, but look at this Lissandra's play. I was talking about in my last video, I think, about how, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to just play and lose, or are you going to play and grow and try to create crazy plays? And this Lissandra, W start, cheeses our lane. Incredible. As far as missing correctly, I let myself get engaged there. Remember, I'm not running Comet or Hail of Blades. I'm running I'm running Guardian. And so this allows me, stay away from the plant. This allows me to take a lot of damage and get movement speed out of the fight. And so we are just going to rinse and repeat and get this Jarvan over the wall over and over and over again. And then he gets easy flag and drag off of slow. So our Lissandra, you can see she's also giving us a little bit of attention here. I'm not really sure if Lissandra should be winning a Lee Sin matchup. Lee Sin's pretty interesting. But the thing about Zyra is that if she sets up in a lane, like with a Caitlyn or something, she is broken. But if she gets focused, she is just walking bags of money. Here, I'd hit a huge ult and ignite early, but my early ignite was actually kind of crap. Like, if you're going to use ignite early, you're going to want them to die within the ignite tick so they can have healing reduced. But the way I played it, it just didn't work out. They started focusing the Diana, and the Lee Sin survived for a longer period of time. Here we are again doing the same thing. One of my biggest tips for landing Bard ults is just get close to them. You don't need to be Kobeing, Steph Currying your ults across the map and landing them. They're so much harder to land that way. But if you get melee on them, it's so much easier, especially if you chain link with a Q or an auto slow. I probably shouldn't have spaced to give Yasuo that good of a jump through me, but there's so many of us up here, we end up getting the kill for free. If you're trying to be a Bard player, you've got to be looking at your minimap. You guys may notice that my minimap is kind of large. I like it being a little bit bigger because my old boomer eyes can't see my screen very well. But it's stuff like this where you notice that all the enemies are off the map and someone's really low. These kills are free and just waiting for you to come get them. I have no problem tanking that tower I have tabbies and don't care. I've got so much armor. This flash by MF was so good. It actually surprised me, and luckily I just held my Q for the Lee Sin coming in. Not sure if my locket was really necessary there, but I figured since we're stomping so hard, I might as well just use it. Save a little bit of health on the front side. We pick up Baron for free because we're just winning through mid, and it's just an FF angle for them, so... Well, I really appreciate you guys watching my video. Leave a comment, do the subscription things. I think I've gotten like 20 subscribers in the last few weeks. I love this growth. I really appreciate it. And I've been getting comments that are saying, oh, I love your content and, keep making videos. That stuff really motivates me and I really appreciate it. You guys have a good week.